Assalamu alaikum. Hello everyone. Today we're going to start the new topic, that is subject-verb agreement. It's extremely an essential topic that you need to master and to use it properly while you write. Otherwise your writing will be incorrect and inaccurate. Now, what do we mean by saying subject-verb agreement? We said previously that the basic two units in each sentence are the subject and the verb. If your sentence lacks one of them, then it turns to be a fragment and it's no longer a correct sentence. Now, there should be a relationship of a certain kind between the subject and the verb. This kind of relationship, we call it agreement. They should agree. They should agree together in terms of number. So here we have the verb must agree with its subject in number. So if the verb is singular, if the subject is singular, then we need a singular verb. If the subject is plural, then we need a plural verb. What does that mean? I wrote you here in these two clouds the rule. If we're talking a simple present tense, if you have simple present, and you should be familiar with the places and uses where we need to use the simple present tense. If the sentence in front of you talks about facts, like in the first sentence about some weird cats, or if it talks about routine, something that usually happens, or permanent situations, like I live in Amman, that's permanent situation. Or if we talk about timetable, schedule, like the movie begins at 9 o'clock, the train leaves at 10 o'clock, that's a timetable schedule. In these four places we need to use simple present tense. Now, what is the rule for using simple present tense? If you decide that what you need, what is the missing verb in your sentence is simple present tense, then you mainly should be thinking of adding s or deleting s from the verb. Okay? So you put the subject, then you put the verb, and you add s to the verb. When do you add s? You look at the subject. If the subject is singular, he, she, it, or any singular subject like Mary, the girl, a cat, then you add s to the verb when it's simple present. Whereas if the subject is I, you, they, we, or a plural, then do not add s to the verb. Do not add s to the verb. Let's have a look at the exercises over here, the examples I mean. The first sentence, her weird cat bites people. So where is the subject? Who bites people? Cat. So cat is the subject. It is singular, one cat only. Therefore, it needs a singular verb. Where is the main verb that shows me action? Bites. What did we add to the end of bites? We add s. Therefore, it becomes a singular subject. This way, both of them agree in number. Singular subject with singular verb takes s when the verb is simple present tense. Look at the second sentence. A diesel truck driver makes good money. Who makes good money? The driver, and it's one driver, so it is singular. So, what do we say about the driver? He makes good money. So the verb is makes. It's underlined twice. Because we have a singular subject, then we have a singular verb. We simply add s to the verb. He looks as though he wants trouble. So he is the subject, and it's only one. Who looks as though he wants trouble? He. So he is the subject. He what? What do I say about him? Looks. So singular subject with singular verb. We add s to the verb looks. Still, we have more subjects and verbs in the sentence. As though he wants trouble. Who wants trouble? He. So again, he is the subject. And it's a singular subject. It loves the S with the verb. So we add S to the verb wants. Okay? Here are some examples of plural subjects and verbs. We're going to take the same previous sentences, but we are going to change every singular subject, like cat in the first sentence, to be plural in the second sentence, cats. One driver, drivers. He, they. So all we did is changing the singular subject from the first set of sentences to be plural subject in the second set of sentences. Now, pay attention to the differences. Now, here word cats. So we have a plural subject. Therefore, we're going to need a plural verb. Plural verbs do not accept S, X for S. So it becomes cats and bite. Cats is a plural subject. Bite is a plural verb. Plural verb has no S. Therefore, the two of them, the subject and the verb, they do agree together in number. Okay? Second sentence, diesel truck drivers. Now, many drivers, plural subject. So we need a plural verb. So it becomes make without S. Because when the subject is a plural, no S is added to the verb. They look as though they want trouble. They is the subject. It's plural here. Then we use the verb without S, so they agree. As though they want trouble. So again, they, plural subject, therefore want is a plural verb, which means a verb without having S. Now keep it in mind that a plural subject has S. Plural verb doesn't have S. And it's the opposite here. Singular subject has no S, but singular verb has S. Okay? Now, underline the correct word in the parentheses. Now, the fan. The fan is the subject, needs to be oiled. You add some oil to the fan so it doesn't make noisy sounds. So, the fan, what? Needs or need? It's one fan, singular. So we need S with the verb. So we say fan needs. The snakes slither. You know what's the slither? Like they move in a way that makes no sound. Now the snakes, many snakes, plural. So we need a plural verb. Plural verb does not take S. So snakes, plural subject. Slither, plural verb without S. He, singular, one he. Therefore, we add S to the verb. He drives cautiously, carefully. The radio blurs. And here, you know what's the blurs makes those sounds that are also noisy sounds? So one radio. So we add S to the verb, blurs. My sister, one sister, that's the subject. So we add S to the verb. Therefore, they would agree in number. Singular subject and singular verb. We add S to the verb. I did you the first 5 sentences. You are requested to finish the other 5 sentences. Now, agreement mistakes with 4 common irregular verbs. Usually people do agreement mistakes when we talk about verb to be, have, do, or go. Now, be in the present tense, you can never have be alone in a sentence, alone by itself to be the main verb in a sentence. It cannot. But when it's used in a present tense, you might use one of its sons or daughters, if you like to call them, am, is, are. Now, change be into the past. It's going to be was or were. Past participle that again comes after have, or has, or had, it is been or been. Now, have or has, simple present. Had is the past. Had is the past participle after have or has or had again. Do or does is the simple present. Did is the past. And done is the past participle, verb 3. after have or has or had. Go or goes is the simple present. Went is the past. Gone is verb 3. Here they put us only the present and the past because usually past participle does not change when it comes after have or has or had. They are fixed. It's been, it's had, it's done, it's gone. But look when it's present and past. Let's have a look at the first group, be. Again, be in the present. With I, it should be am. With you, it should be are. He or she or it or singular noun, it should be is. Now, we are, you are, they are, or any plural subject we need are. Now change it into past. I am, it will be I was. You are, it will be you were. He or she or it is, or any singular noun, the cat is. In the past, he or she or it was. Now, we were, you were, they were. Instead, if you change the present, we are, it becomes we were. You are, you were, and they were. Now, have family. I have, you have, she, he, it has. Remember the group that always loves the S, he and she, it, and singular. Why would they choose has? Because has an S. They love verbs with S. They choose is because it has an S. Anyway, we have, you have, and they have. Change them into past. They all are going to be had. So I had, you had, she had, it, he had, we had, you had, and they had. Do, family. I do, you do. Remember the ones that love the S, he, she, it, or singular? They take does because does contains an S. We do, you do, they do, that's for the present tense. Let's change this into the past tense. They all take did. So I did, you did, he, she, it did, we did, you did, they did, and that's it. Now for go, again I go, you go, he or she or it goes. Remember they love the S, so we add S to the verb. Here ES, not only S. We go, you go, they go. Now the past tense for all is went. I went, you went, he, she, it went, we went, you went, and they went. Okay? Cross out the incorrect verb form, then write the correct form of the verb in the space provided. The number of spaces will tell you how many corrections to make in each sentence. So we will see what's wrong with each verb, why it is wrong. Now the potatoes has to be mashed. Now potatoes is a plural subject, many potatoes. Therefore it needs a plural verb, which is have. So potatoes have, not has. Because I had a study out before class, I were able to prepare for the quiz. I as in the previous, here, I in the past, I was, not I were. So to agree between I and be in the past, the agreement, I takes was, not were. So I was. Carol has a better typewriter than we does. So we is going to borrow it. The first subject is we, and we is a plural. Plural pronoun, plural subject. So it needs a plural verb, which is do. We say we do, not we does. The second one, we are, not we is. To make this agreement in number between the subject and the verb, we should change is or fix it to be are. My television have to be fixed, for I does not want to miss the football game on Sunday. My television has to, because it's one television, singular, and has to is the singular form of the verb. Now, I does not want to miss, I don't want to miss. I don't want to miss, because I takes do, not does. so we fix it to be do not or contracted as don't. My parents do so much for me that I be reluctant to ask them for a loan. I be, we can never use be by itself to be the main verb in the sentence. Be cannot be main verb in the sentence. So we should take one of its forms in the present tense, which are am or is or are. Now what is the form that is used with I? Am. I am. They has decided to buy a VW for it have everything they want in a car. They, that's a plural subject, so it needs a plural verb, so we say they have, not they has. And then it have, that's again wrong. It is a singular subject, therefore it needs a singular verb, which should be has. Okay? The verb be cannot by itself serve as a verb, and this is what I have just said. You can never say I be tired, but you would say I am tired or I was tired. Okay? They be leaving soon. That's wrong. You cannot use be before the ing. You say they are leaving soon or they will be leaving soon. Okay, be can be used after will. It's okay, we can use it after will, but we cannot use it if it's not preceded by will. So either you say they are leaving soon or they will be leaving soon, but you cannot say they be leaving soon. You are going be late. That's wrong. You cannot say be like this. It should be preceded by to. So you are going to be late. Okay? So pay attention when you use be. Make sure that it's preceded either by will or by to, or you use it as one of its present form am, is, are, or past forms was or were. Okay? Now people sometimes make agreement mistake with the contractions. Now just pay attention. Doesn't means does not. Now many people put the apostrophe in the wrong place. Remember this rule that I'm going to explain for you. Originally it was does and not. What we did or what we do when we make it contraction doesn't اختصار, then we remove the O. Remove the O and put in the place of the O an apostrophe. This is the apostrophe. Okay? So just in the place of the letter that you remove, put an apostrophe and get the two parts close to each other to make them one word. This word we get doesn't as does not. Wasn't, we remove the O, we put apostrophe in the place of the O, so we got wasn't. Don't, we remove the O from not and we get don't. Were not, we remove the O, we put apostrophe in its place, so we get weren't. Okay? Write short sentence using correctly each of the verbs shown. So we have don't. I don't like myths. I don't like horror movies. I don't enjoy history. Any sentence you like. They don't. You can change the subject, the girls, the books, whatever you like. Okay? Wasn't. She wasn't there when he arrived. She wasn't. Now, she is singular subject, therefore we need singular verb with it from be, which is wasn't. Okay? Now I jump to number 4b because I said we cannot have be by itself to be the main verb in the sentence. Here I chose to make it preceded by to. You can make it preceded by will. Okay? He is going to be a great leader. He is going to be a great leader. Okay? Now, there are other agreement mistakes that usually people do. Number one, when words come between the subject and the verb. Sometimes there are many words in the middle between the subject and the verb. So you get lost sometimes. You get lost in this verb agrees with which word. And here to fix this problem, as we're going to see through the examples right now, you just need to decide on the subject. Where is the subject? If you know where the subject is, immediately you can choose a verb that agrees with it, with S or without S. Number two, when a verb comes before the subject, usually we have subject, then verb. In a few sentences, we have the verb first, then we have the subject. So people get confused what kind of verb to use. And through the examples, we are going to explain how to avoid this problem. Compound subjects, when the subject is John and Mary, so they become two people. So I should choose for them a plural verb. With who or which or that, and with the special singular words. We're going to see this in details right now. Let's begin with the first case, words between the subject and the verb. Now, look at this sentence. The mean cockroaches, you know what are cockroaches? The mean cockroaches behind my stove get high on raid. Now, where is the verb? The verb is get. Now, who gets high on raid? Who? The cockroaches. So, forgot about behind the stove, which is a prepositional phrase that we talked about in an earlier lesson. Imagine that you cross this out. No need for behind the stove. So, you see, many cockroaches, that's plural. So, the verb should not take S, so I make it get. Some people or students would rush doing this, looking only at the stove, saying, oh, stove is singular, add S to the verb. Oh, sorry, but that is wrong. Decide where the subject is first. So the subject is cockroaches. So what gets high on raid? It's the cockroaches, and it's plural. So do not add S to the verb. Cross out the prepositional phrase temporarily, so you get to know where are the subject and the verb. Okay? Now, look at this example. One of the crooked politicians was jailed for a month. So, where is the verb was? Now, who was jailed for a month? One. So, I crossed the prepositional phrase of the crooked politicians. So, I'm left with one, then I know it should be was. Some students would rush it and say politicians and would say many politicians, so I should make the verb where. That is wrong. First step in order to get your verb agrees with your subject is to decide where is the subject. I get to know that the subject in this sentence is one. So one is singular. So I need was, not where. For a month, we can cross it out as well. Remember that when you cross out prepositional phrases, things become easier for you. Again, prepositional phrases, we said last time, like حرف الجر والاسم المجرور, that what if it's translated to Arabic. Hamburger helper, along with other food supplements, stretches my budget. So I cross out this sentence, this part of a clause, along with other food supplements, or either it's a prepositional phrase. So I cross it out. I'm left with hamburger helper. It's singular. So I add S to the verb stretches. Okay? Now underline the subject and lightly cross out any words that come between, in the middle, between the subject and the verb, then double underline the verb choice in parentheses. The price of the stereo speakers. Cross the prepositional phrase of the stereo speakers. What are we left with? Price. So where is the subject to price? Is it singular or plural? It is singular, so we need for it is, not are. The blue stain on the sheets. No, now cross what we have between the subject and the verb, the prepositional phrase on the sheets. We get to know that stain is the subject. It's one stain, so we need a singular verb. Adding S to the verb comes. The sport coat along with the two pair of pants. Cross out the prepositional phrase along with the two pairs of pants. So I get coat. Coat now is singular and it needs a singular verb. Therefore, we choose cells with S. The roots of the apple tree. Again, cross out the of the apple tree. Cross it out because it's the prepositional phrase. Roots is a plural, and then make a plural verb are to agree with your subject roots. Clyde's sisters, many sisters, who wanted to be at this surprise party. Remove this relative clause, who wanted to be at his surprise party. Remove it. So we are left with sisters, plural. And for sisters, we need where, because it's a plural verb. Finally, the dust-covered books in the attic. Now we remove in the attic. We are left with books, and then we need a plural verb, which is belong. So books belong to my father. A plural subject agrees with a plural verb. Finish the rest in your book, please. Okay? Now we move to another mistake that is kind of confusing. It needs lots of attention in order to solve it. Now sometimes we said, usually the rule in English is that we have the subject, then the verb. First we get the subject, then we get the verb. But unfortunately, in some sentences we have the opposite. We have the verb first, then the subject. And here many people start to do mistakes to solve or to just write their verbs. So it appears finally that their subjects and verbs, they do not agree together. Now look at the first sentence. Waiting for Martha Grincher at the street corner were two panhandlers. Panhandlers means beggars, okay? Now who were waiting for Martha? Who? The panhandlers. So it is the subject, okay? What were they doing? What were they doing? Were waiting. Were waiting for a person in the street corner, okay? Now this is the subject, and here it comes at the end of the sentence. Because it's a plural, many beggars, many panhandlers, then we need to choose a plural verb. So we have were instead of was, okay? There are many pizza joints in my room. Okay? What are there in my room? What are there? Pizza joints. So pizza joints is the subject. Okay? Joints like restaurants, places where you get and eat. So pizza joints is the subject. What do I say about pizza joints? You know, there are many of them in my town. So pizza joints is the subject. What is the verb? Are. It should agree with joints because joints is a plural, so we take are. So it's wrong if you say there is, and many students do that mistake. There is many pizza joints. Wrong. There are many pizza joints. Here is your receipt. Here is your receipt. So what is here? Your receipt. So receipt is the subject. So receipt, you can say the sentence receipt. And where is the verb? Is. Like your receipt is here. If you'd like to change the order of the sentence, you can say your receipt is here. So receipt is the subject, and then the verb is. Because it's one receipt, we need a singular verb, so it is. It's wrong to use are or to use am. Where are they going to sleep? Now, where is the subject? Usually in the question, when we have a question, then the subject comes in the middle between the helping verb and the main verb. Helping verb is are and the main verb is going. So they, it's plural. So the verb should be plural as well. So we say are, not is, or not am. Okay? Now, write the correct form of the verb in the space provided. First, decide where is the subject, so you will be able to fix the verb accordingly. There are long lines at the checkout corner. They give you the two choices, is or are. Now decide where is the subject. The subject is lines. What are there in the checkout corner? There are long lines. So long lines is the subject, and there are many lines, plural. So plural subject would need a plural verb. Therefore, we need are. Now, scampering to the door to greet Mrs. Grincher were her two little dogs. So the little who were scampering, يعني running with excitement. Who were running with excitement? Her two dogs to welcome her, to say hello to her. Okay. Now the two little dogs is the subject, so it's plural. So dogs were or was? Dogs were, because it is a plural subject, so it needs a plural verb. Now, faster than speeding bullets is Superman. Who is faster than sleeping bullets? Who? Superman. So Superman is the subject and it's singular. Therefore, because it's singular, we need as to agree with a singular subject, not are. Where do you go when you want to be alone? Again, this is a question. So we have the helping verb, then the subject in the middle, then go the main verb. Now the subject in the middle is you, and you takes do, not does. According to what we studied earlier, we say you do. Here is the site where the new gas station will be built. So we talk about the site. So the site is the verb. You can say the site is here if you want to reorder the words to have the subject first and then the verb as we normally do. So you could say the site is here, but here we have here is the site. It's one site, therefore we need as to be a singular pronoun. Okay? Now, let's move to a new slide. Compound subjects, it's when there are more than one subject who do the same verb. So if we say yoga and biking are Lola's ways of staying in shape. Now here it's compound subject joined by the conjunction and. So two things now. I talk about two sports, yoga, biking, yoga, biking, and then I use are. Fear and ignorance have a lot to do with hatred. What have to do? Fear and ignorance. These are the two subjects. They become two things, not one thing. Fear and ignorance. They become two things. Therefore, they are plural, and they need a plural verb, which is have. Okay? Now, here we have, and please pay attention to this. When subjects are joined by either or, هاد أو هاد, neither nor, مش هاد ولا هداك ولا واحد فيهم, nor only but also. Now here the verb agrees with the subject closer to the verb. Only with these expressions used, you have to look at the closer subject to the verb and to make your agreement. What does that mean? Either the Bee Gees or Stevie Wonder deserves the award for best album of the year. طيب, دول name of musical bands maybe, or a singer here. We have two subjects. Bee Gees, which is a plural, and the Steve Wonder, which is singular subject. Now here we have either or. We don't have and like in the previous ones in the compound subject. Either or. Now where is the verb deserves? Which subject is closer to deserve in the place? Steve Wonder. That's a name of one person, so singular. So the rule says look at the closest subject to the verb and make your agreement. So this is singular, then make your verb singular by adding s to the verb. Okay? If we make it the opposite, either Steve Wonder or the Bee Gees, then the Bee Gees would be closer to the verb deserve. Then I would make it the Bee Gees deserve. I don't add s to the verb deserve. Now, write the correct form of the verb in the space provided. Owning a car and having money. Two subjects. The first one owning, the second one having, with and. So I have two subjects, it becomes a plural, therefore I choose where. The kitchen and the bathroom. I have two subjects, kitchen and bathroom. So plural, two things. I choose have. Going shopping and doing the laundry, two things. Going shopping, doing the laundry, two things. They become a plural, so I use are as well. Okay? Look at this. Before they saw a marriage therapist, Peter and Jenny were planning to get divorced. So two people, Peter and Jenny. Peter and Jenny. So we make it were. Not only the landlady's dog, but also her children. This is one of the expressions, not only but also, that we said. If you have this case, you look at the subject that is closer to the verb, then you make the agreement. So the first subject, landlady's dog, which is singular, but I don't care about it. The second subject, her children, which is a plural. Now, her children is closer to the verb, to the space. That's why I make the agreement between the closest subject to the verb, which is her children. It's a plural, so I need a plural verb, which is are. If I make it the opposite, not only her children, but also landlady's dog, then the dog becomes closer to the verb, so I would choose is in this case. Okay? Now, we come to one more thing, students always make mistakes over here, doing relating the subject to the verb and making the agreement in number. We have who, which, or that can be used as the subject. Now, how to decide if the verb after who or which or that should be singular or plural? There is a very simple thing to do. See, what does who refer to? If it's singular, if it refers to something singular, make your subject, your verb singular. If which refers to something plural, make your verb plural. If it refers to something singular, make your verb singular. Let's understand this through having a look at the examples. Now, we say the bearded guy who is wearing. Who refers to whom? Who I talk about the guy. It is one guy, singular. So I make the verb after who, singular, is. Now, the guys who are wearing. Now, who refers to guys, many guys, so it's a plural. So I make are plural verb as well. Okay? Now, let's have a look at the practice section over here. Write in the correct form of the verb in the space provided. We have lacks or lack as the verb. He is a student who. Now, who refers to student? One student, so we need singular verb lacks with s. I dislike people who. Who refers to people? Many people, so make it a plural verb take without s. Carl took the recipes from a book which refers to a book. It's one book, singular, so we need a singular verb, so we choose is, not are. I removed the sheets that refers to the sheets. Sheets is a plural, so we take the verb wear because it agrees with the plural. The Chevette is one of the small American cars that give. Now that refers to cars, many cars, plural. So we need a plural verb, therefore we use give rather than gives. Okay? We come to the last point in our lesson, which has to do special singular subjects. If you have these subjects, and you should study them by heart, memorize them by heart, then the verb after them should be singular verb. Yani with s, you choose is, you choose has, you choose does, goes, okay? One, no one, nobody, nothing, anyone, anybody, anything, everyone, everybody, everything, someone, somebody, something, each, either, neither. But with both, you need a plural verb. If you say both the two sisters go, not goes. So both, you consider it as a plural subject. But these words in this group, we consider them as singular subjects. Everyone in the neighborhood, everyone, we said it's singular, so we need a singular verb, ignores with S. Nobody, singular, we need a singular verb with S, so we make it dances. Either, singular verb, we choose deserves. Both, look at the note here, both always takes a plural verb. So we consider both to be plural because actually it contains two, it means two persons, two things. So it's a plural. Both, so we take the plural verb where instead of was. Everyone who received an invitation. Everyone is the subject, so we need the verb appears to agree in number, so it is singular verb, we add S to the verb. Okay? We are almost done. We'll do some more exercises, the extra exercises at the end of the lesson. Okay? Underline the correct word in the parentheses. Now the carrots. The subject is carrots and it's a plural, so we need a plural verb. So carrots were. The ragged boy scrambling through the hedges is or are. Where is the subject? Who is from the new family? The boy. So we can cross everything else to reach the subject. So we talk about the boy. Now, boy is singular. So we need for it a singular verb, which is. The hamburger does not taste fresh. One hamburger, it's singular. So we need a singular verb with S, does. Now, this one is important. There is or are 5 formulas we have to memorize for the test. What do we have to memorize for the test? 5 formulas. So this is my subject, but it comes after the verb. So this is kind of confusing. So we talk about the 5 formulas. It's a plural. So do I say 5 formulas is or 5 formulas are? Definitely are because it's a plural. Okay? The comics in the newspaper is or are. So we cross out the phrasal verb in the newspaper. We easily find the subject comics and it's a plural verb. Therefore, it needs a plural verb which is are. Underline the correct word in the parentheses. The old man standing under the park trees does or do not look happy. So the old man, who don't or doesn't look happy? The old man. So I know that man is the subject and it's singular. So it should take a singular verb which is does. The record has or have. It's one record. So singular. So we need a singular verb which is has. Skittering across the pond's surface was or were dozens of water of bugs. What was or were skittering across the pond's surface? What? Water bugs. We talk about, dozens of water bugs. So the subject is dozens. So dozens is a plural. So it takes a plural verb which is were. The price of the set of dishes you like so much is $84. The price, I just like to cross out the prepositional phrase of the set of dishes. So I get the subject the price, and to make it agree with its verb, then we use is. Mary's gentle voice and pleasant smile. We have and in the middle, which links two subjects together. So I get a compound subject in two sentences. So the voice and the smile together, the two words become a plural. Two things. So I need for them a plural verb, which is attract people to her. Okay? This way we are done. Please finish the rest of the exercises. Again, I'm going to choose 5 students to send me privately pictures of their work. And remember, it's part of your assignments that is graded. Okay? Best of luck. يعطيكم العافية. Thank you so much.